deal. So we're about 5 minutes in. I'll go ahead and get started. Once again, thanks everybody for joining. Today we're going to be talking about, opportunities to come. LinkedIn and using that as the major tool that it is in building your brand on that platform. I have an agenda slide for us really quick, just a high level talk about some things that we'll cover. Welcome, introductions. We do have some prizes and giveaways, which is based on you chatting to us, coming off mute, talking to us. Feel free to use your video as well, because we love to see your face. We'll talk about changing the face of tech and why, and why exactly we're here today. Next Gen Sales Academy, Haley's our wonderful representative. And then, of course, LinkedIn Build Your Brand. What's next? And then we'll have some questions and answers. So jam-packed agenda in this next 55 minutes we got coming up. So you guys put your seatbelts and hold tight with me. First things first, I'll talk about a little bit about who I am, just so you know this. So my name is Wayne Epps. Welcome to Wayne's World. I'm born and raised in Lawton, Oklahoma. Long way from Massachusetts. I'm currently in, Oklahoma City. We do have a Dell site here. I've been here probably about a little bit over 6 years now. I got started in technical support. I have a bachelor's degree in criminal justice and started in tech support. And people were calling me to fix their computers, and I never ever saw the inside of one prior to working at Dell Technologies, which is a testament to our coaching and training that we do have here from a sales perspective, from a tech perspective, but really just relying on the fact that you're used to school, you're used to studying, hard work, hustle, grit, and all those types of soft skills that we're going to harp on as well. I'm currently a diversity campus manager. What it is that I'm the primary contact for the community colleges. And I'm the one that brings in the resources, like Haley, to talk to you about the different type of opportunities and these types of different workshops. And we bring out and we build like the strategy to go to campus to provide those types of internships, full-time opportunities, and types of workshops as well. So thanks everybody for coming on video. I appreciate that as well. Really quick tidbits about me. I'm a first generation college student. That top picture is my sister and I back in 2019. I went back to school in 2017 for my master's degree in business. And Dell paid, and one of the cool things about that is that Dell partners with you for a lot of different things when it comes to certifications, going back to school as well. So Dell helped me complete that in 2019. My sister and I graduated on the same weekend, and so being first generation in like a single parent household, it was really special. That was on my mom's birthday as well, so we actually got to walk on the same day. So that's super exciting. I'm a huge nerd. So Marvel, Star Wars, anything we can geek out about that stuff, just let me know if you're into it. I'm also a huge sports fan. I played like a little piece of linebacker in my youth. So like I said, Ray Lewis is my favorite ball player. I'm a gym rat, but I also love those little golden stuffed Oreos. So that keeps me fat. And I grill chicken, and like I said, grilling's my hobby. And those are my two dogs, which I mentioned earlier that I had to put them away because they get super duper excited when I start talking. But that's Drax and that's Marley. Marley's on the right, Drax is on the left. Little other thing about me, I'm a type 1 diabetic. I have been, I'm 30 now. I've been a diabetic 20 years. And what I never knew what I wanted to do in life. You'll find out when I got here is that I just had a passion for like customer service. And just program and project management. But I always just wanted a career to be able to be able to take care of my health. As you know, like the healthcare industry is very expensive. Having like a chronic illness is very expensive. And then also my mom worked 2 jobs to try to, compete for us and, provide a living for us. So Dell, and like I said, thankfully Dell Technology has done that and more. And the reason why I'm here today is because of the culture and what I'm able to do now. So also random fact, you will hear me stutter and stumble over words sometimes. Some people don't notice it. Sometimes it'll come out a lot during presentations, but I really do give back to this foundation to work with kids who aren't as open and non-shy as me. Because it will, kind of hold you back in certain things. But this speaks to a testament of whatever you want to do with Dell Technologies, you can. So the fact that I stutter and sometimes words do not come out of my mouth correctly, and I do, presentations and I have to talk, lead meetings so much, and you can do it here. So be confident. So with that being said, that's Wayne's World, but I wanted you all to know a little bit about me. I'll toss the virtual microphone over to Haley.
Thank you, Wayne. I appreciate it. I won't take up too much time, guys. Like Wayne said, my name's Haley Fox. I I'm a campus recruiter for the Next Generation Sales Academy, and I actually went through this program myself. So I have kind of a unique background in the sense that I recruit now for a program that I went through. So I did all the cold calling, I was a part of all the trainings. I can really speak to all the good days, the bad days. But to take it a step back, I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I went to Ohio University for my undergrad degree. And from there, I moved straight up to Boston. I never had been to Boston. I just really wanted to accept this job with Dell and start my sales career in technology. So I took a bit of a leap of faith and joined their sales program right after college. And I fell in love with it. Not only just the program and the technology and the opportunity, but mainly was just so amazed to see the opportunities that stemmed from this job. My passion started to grow a little bit more towards showing people this program, like friends and loved ones, and saying, you got to interview for this. It's just such a great start. You don't need experience. You can make a great living, a lot of flexibility, and my passion started to kind of deteriorate in the sales side. And I think my manager could see that and said, hey, we have a really great spot opened up, our campus manager, to bring talent in. And it was a no-brainer for me. I really wanted a role that could bring awesome talent to this program, and that really fuels me, seeing people get this job, go through the program, and ultimately have a career that they love. So that is what I've been doing for the last 4 years at Dell, and I've loved every day of it. It really doesn't feel like work. A little bit of my personal life, you can see a lot of people in those photos. I'm just a big family girl. That's my massive Irish family, all from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Everybody lives around 4 or 5 minutes away from each other, which can be some people's nightmare, but I love it. Everyone's real close, real good people. My husband and I just got married this last June, so we are COVID bride and groom, which was crazy. Thank you, Wayne, but we made it through. The only thing that really mattered was being there together that day. We also have a pup at the bottom left, May. She is started off real cute, as you can see on the left, and she's turned into a bit of a beast. She was also put outside for this call because she thinks the world revolves around her, and if I'm not petting her at all times, there will be anarchy. So she's a great little thing in our life. But that's a little bit about my background. I'm so excited to meet you guys here today, mainly because I feel as though I hopefully can be relatable to you all. I had zero technology background, very little sales background other than being a waitress all through college. That was it when it came to like customer interaction. And I was able to really go through this program and create a great career in tech sales. So if you're interested in the same thing, I'm here today to tell you that it's super possible, and we can jump into more details in the program. But Wayne, I can send it back your way.
Appreciate you, Haley. No, this is great. And I love your photos about your wedding. Like I said, congratulations. I'm so happy. And then,
Thank
is your
you.
dog a lab? It's a lab.
Yeah, she's an
Yeah.
English lab. So
Yep. I got an American, like I said, Drax and let's see, John. I see you caught about letting dogs in the meeting. I will later on when we're all done, but no, like my lab's a lot. I'll let you know right
she
now.
will ruin this meeting single-handedly.
Definitely. Both of mine will get on 10. So, as I mentioned today, we got prizes to give away, but it's based on your participation, right? I want you guys to talk to us, chat to us. This is how you'll claim your prize. So you'll get two options. If you see that on the far left, it says respond to dell@nc3.com. That is a valid email address. That is not spam. We are not phishing. So after the call, if you win, you're going to get an email from them. Respond back, and then you'll have two options, right? You'll be able to choose the prize bundle, which is going to be straw, the charger, and the water bottle. But also, you could also pick one of the four: the tumbler, the hat, the t-shirt, and then the lunch pail, right? So just remember, talk to me, chat to me, come off video. I mean, like I said, if you can. And like I said, there's prizes for us. With that being said, really quick, I'm going to talk about changing the face of tech. Changing the face of tech is the reason why we are here today. This allows us to create a diverse pipeline coming from the community college schools. We've done this successfully year over year on the university level. And even from changing the face of tech perspective, in 2008, we've done it on the 4-year side. But the 2-year colleges are completely new, brand new, launched in February of 2008. And 2021. So we've been completely successful this past summer with bringing these types of full-time opportunities, mentorships, internships. And I just really quick want to say that we are hiring community college graduates. So keep that in mind. That's the reason why we're here. And like I said, remember, changing the face of tech. This is myself and the team that we work by. Sorry for the pop up. As you see, busy. But yeah, keep that in mind, everybody. I do want to say that. So like I said, rolling right into that, we do have opportunities. And I'll toss it back over to Haley. Talk more about the program.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like Wayne said, tons of opportunities at Dell. This is not the only one. This is like one of many, many entry level sales opportunities if sales is kind of what you're looking into. But in my opinion, and I am biased, this is the best one. I went through this program myself, and obviously, all of our opportunities are great. But I think this program does a really great job at one thing. And in my opinion, it's the most critical for recent college grads training. Training is critical, and that's because most of you, including myself, know nothing when it comes to the technology world. And this program has just an incredible training program to take you from essentially zero to very confident to talk about the technology and what we sell. So with that being said, I'm here recruiting for a 2-year inside sales program, and it is a feeder to field sales. So a lot of you might be saying, oh, I don't want to do inside sales, the cold calling piece. I want to be face to face. I totally feel you, and I wanted that as well. The products that we sell are they're pretty complex. The technology that we're going to be talking to our customers about, and they also are quite expensive. And we can't really throw you out into the field and give you a customer and say, hey, close this $2 million quota when you don't really know what you're doing. We want to set you up for success. So what we do is bring you into this 2-year program. A lot of us kind of refer to it as like a mini MBA in technology sales. Our offices are in Hopkinton, Massachusetts and Round Rock, Texas. So if you guys are local to MA, it is close to you all. It would be an easy commute to that Hopkinton office. And when you start this program, you're going to begin as a new hire. That new hire is 10 weeks of training. It's literally like going to a college course. We're going to start off our trainings with talking about the products that we sell, the architecture, why, how they work, why customers need them, essentially just the vocabulary that allows you to talk comfortably to customers about them. And then we're going to pair it with sales training, right? We're going to talk about how do we sell it? What are some qualifications you can ask to customers to get into this path of this conversation? What are the objections you're going to see? How do you pitch it? All those things. So after that 10-week training program, you will move into the first role of the program, which is the associate inside sales rep role you can see on the far left. That associate inside sales rep role will last anywhere from 6 to 9 months. That seems pretty random, but the reason is it's all based off meritocracy and how well you do. So I was added to a team as an associate. My manager's name was John, and he was essentially in charge of making sure my metrics were being met every day and that I was developing properly from a sales perspective so that I was comfortable messaging the products. I was getting better with customers every day. Maybe my metrics were slowly on the up climb and they were, increasing with time. It was his job to make sure that I was really developing. And right around 7 months, he said, I think you're ready for promotion. You've done a good job. You've been very consistent, which is a great factor in sales. And from there, I was promoted to the inside sales rep role, which is where we kind of take the training wheels off a little bit and we say, here's the account you're going to cover from the inside. In my case, it was Nationwide Children's Hospital in Columbus, Ohio. And they said, here's your field rep. She lives out there. You're going to work hand in hand with her to essentially run and close deals to meet your quota. So you go from like aimlessly kind of cold calling and trying to find opportunities and just learn to talk the technology to essentially running and closing your own deals that is going to earn you real commission at the end of the day. So that first step is very much so like a crawl. And the second step is kind of a walk. And then we're going to throw you out into the field where it's really more of a run. Our field sales opportunity comes next. And we're going to say, where do you want to sell? Do you want to stay in Massachusetts? Do you see yourself in the West Coast? Any city in the country is open for you. So I was able to relocate back to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, my hometown, which was my plan all along, and cover an account in this area, right? So you will be face to face, you're working remotely, while making a great competitive salary, servicing your customer in the IT space of the industry of your choice. So it's a really great program, as you can see, for people that want to know exactly what's coming next for them. I didn't want to just start a job where I was going to sit in a cubicle for God knows how long without any idea of a promotion or what was coming next. This gave me a clear indication of what I needed to do to be promoted. And each step I was going to make a little bit more money, and I was going to be more confident and ultimately be in field sales, which was my goal, to be in IT field sales. So that's a breakdown of the career. I know I gave you guys a lot of information at that point, but does if you have questions, put them in the chat. I'll really quickly go over the slides so we can get into the more of the development piece of this conversation today. But I want you all to understand what this program sells. As you can see on the left, we have what we call our client side: laptops, desktops, servers. You guys all know those things all too well. This program does not focus on any of those things. We focus more on the data center infrastructure, right? So as you can see on the right, we have a massive storage array called a VX block. I didn't even know these things existed until I started at Dell, but they essentially host the data from companies' applications. So I'm sure a lot of you see Snapchat, Instagram, Venmo. These applications create tons of data every day that needs to be secured, it needs to be managed, and it needs to be essentially worked with to create analytics for the company's decisions. We sell those. We sell data center infrastructure, storage arrays, backup repositories, and software for security. So if you join this program, you're never going to be talking about laptops and desktops. You're going to be talking about the pieces that are found in companies' data centers and how we can best create a solution for them. So yes, in the comments, I see we are hiring folks with associate or bachelor's degrees into this program. We can talk about that a little bit more at the end, what the interview process looks like, but that is the basics understanding. 2-year inside program, field role after that, and your focal point product is going to be data center infrastructure that hosts companies' applications. Sorry for the mouthful there, you guys. Try to
No,
get us to
great
go
job.
quick.
No, great job, Bailey. I appreciate that because it rolls right into building your brand to the opportunities that we have. So that's why I wanted you to definitely come in here and highlight, the types of potential that these students could have. So I appreciate you. And like I said, we are hiring completed associate degrees. Keep that in mind. Changing the face of tech allows us to do that. So with that being said, we're going to transition into LinkedIn and building your brand. So I'm going to challenge you all to either you guys can chat to me, talk to me really quick, but I have 3 images of 3 individuals. Who are they and what comes to mind when you see them when it comes to their brand? Like I said, we got prizes too. So don't be shy. Talk to me, chat to me.
We're all well-known celebrities, practically household names.
Yeah.
For a long time, yeah. Books, movies.
Mm-hmm. So we're thinking successful, right?
Quite.
Yeah, like I said, creating legacies. Confident maybe. Leaders. Talk to me. When like I said, whenever you see these individuals, what do you think?
They start from scratch.
Okay, like I said, definitely hustle mentality.
Yeah, they're all successful in their own respects. I'm sure they all earned their way to the top of the ladder in their respective fields.
Definitely.
From the bottom to the top, yeah.
Good deal. Nope. These are all correct answers. Great job, team. So I put these 3 individuals because, as you mentioned, they are pretty much household names. They're, at least, recognizable faces. I think if you saw them walking down the street, you'd be like, hey, can I get a photo, right? So when it comes to Robert Downey Jr., the huge story is, I want to say, is his bounce back story, right? We all know him from the Iron Man movies. And like I said, Marvel, like I said, me being a huge nerd, that's one thing I do love about. But do you know about the struggles and the obstacles that he had in the 90s when it comes to drugs and maybe like his, being out of jail and stuff like that? But he's completely changed his brand, which you are able to do in how people recognize you and what they say about you, right? Because now it's all positive. It's all amazing things that, he has been able to accomplish. LeBron James. I'm a huge sports fan, like I mentioned. His brand is so much bigger than basketball. He's been an advocate for, social rights. His brand is, what? I'm not just going to shut up and dribble. So he does take a stand. He's a leader, right? I think he's known for, I think he's going to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in all-time points listing, but he's known as a facilitator, so definitely much more of a team player. And then, of course, Michelle Obama. She's a lawyer, best-selling author, Grammy winner. Since, ever since the presidency, she's really came to her own, and then she has an amazing brand. So fearless, definitely a leader. Nothing but positive impacts when it comes to like social injustice, and women's rights. So definitely great ideas. Amazing job, team. I'm gonna challenge you all to do one more thing for me. If you have a pencil, paper nearby, you can use your computer. You can take notes. But I do have an a brief activity for us. This is a brand mapping. So what I'm gonna challenge you to do, so get out your pencil and paper. Put your name down in the middle. As you can see, it says me. What I want you to do is ask yourself, what do others associate with you? That'll be your first circle, right? So it says like strong personality, committed, very experienced, hardworking. So what do people think about you, or like associate with you? So do that for me really quick. And this is just an example. I have mine on the other end that I roughly did too, and I timed myself. So like I said, this is really quick, like 5 minutes. We can get this done. So let's be good. Now like I said, like the second part, on step 3, build on those first branches. So you have your strong personality, you have the like hardworking and the very experienced. What does it mean to have a strong personality? Like, why would somebody say that I have leadership skills? So as you can see, for like strong personality, they have chatty, they have leadership skills. They say that they're, competitive. For hardworking, it says because they're always volunteering. You know, for very experienced, because they have 17 years experience doing, whatever it is. And then the last part, what you'll see for this, it says me, and it says hardworking, volunteer. On this last part, what does it mean to be a volunteer? So it means you're always volunteering for new projects, you are a team player. For chatty, it says like I'm not shy, I'm a communicator. For leadership skills, it says because I'm organized, and organized meaning that I have a calendar that's really built out, but just expanding on those thoughts. And then what I'll have is a couple brave individuals tell me what they found out about their brand, and even just isolating some positive things about themselves. And no worries, I can go first. Here goes mine. It's a little rough. Please bear with me. But I have my name in the center. I put that I'm friendly, hardworking, leadership, and confident. We'll take confident, for example. So I'm very confident. Like I said, I mentioned that I do stutter, but it has not shied me away in any type of form. But it's because I'm approachable. I would say I'm not shy, but it also, you may think of it as arrogant, right? So I did good and bad. I put that I'm friendly. One thing that I learned and what works great at Dell Technologies overall, which I will harp on really quick, is positive attitude. I think attitude is one thing that you can control regardless of any situation. So I'm a very positive person. I'm a very patient person. I have a low temper. I'm very understanding, which leads to me being customer focused, which I harped on before. We talked about hustler brand, right? When it comes to being hardworking, I think people may think I'm hardworking because you might get an email from me at like 11 o'clock at night, or 5 a.m. in the morning. I won't shy away from any conversation to talk about Dell Technologies, what we're doing that's so special. I'm super proud of what we've been able to accomplish. Doing this business and the multiple facets that we're in, I have to be very organized. And then when it comes to leadership, I'm really huge on giving back. I talked about the Stuttering Foundation. I do the same thing for type 1 diabetes. I volunteer to be a mentor for Dell Technologies. And this is me thinking of how I've changed throughout the years. I used to think I didn't have any value to add because I was just figuring stuff out. But there is so much value and experience that I have that I can give back to, just kind of help people from making the same mistakes, right? Even though I don't have it all figured out yet, but I do have some resources that we can use. So that's mine, really high level. Couple volunteers, and as I mentioned, we got prizes.
Mine was, I don't know, kind of like generic, I'd say. I don't know. I put that like on the first one, I put like hardworking, persistent, I think person is one of the ones that I get the most because I'm patient and I don't like to give up. So I don't think if something takes 2 years, that's good. If something takes 3 years, just like achieve it. Like doesn't matter how long it takes, you always get better at what you're doing. And actually, we take like 10,000 hours actually to learn how to actually become very good at like a certain skill. So I believe that always try your best and always try to like achieve your best because you're always gonna improve and you're always gonna get better. There's no such a thing as like you're perfect. You can always like improve somehow. And even if it takes time, you can just like I don't know, be patient and it's always like it's about the process. The process is it's very good like regardless of how long it takes you to get where you want to be. I'm very hardworking and I'm like friendly and creative. I'd say creative a lot because I always like have this need to improve and to make things, I don't know, more efficient or just work for certain things that they were not working because I believe, as I said, that anything can improve. But that's it.
No, that's great. No, I love it. Love it. Good job, Maria. And I'm extremely patient as well. Sometimes I think it's patient to a fault. Like it's okay, we'll figure it out. So nice. Anybody else? All right, like I said, perfect. But thank you. So I just asked this, activity to get us thinking. Like, where does your personal brand come into play? Where is it, projected? How do people come to these assumptions, right? It's in meetings, it's when you present, it could be during a hallway chat, it could be at lunch, it could be out socially, right? And then for this conversation, exactly LinkedIn. So almost everywhere. Really quick, just how to brand yourself. So doing this activity, I think that we got a good idea about ourselves, our strengths, maybe some of our weaknesses. But I think how to brand yourself, I think you have to one, be true to yourself and know your talents and your passions. So I'm very transparent about me being, first generation, the fact that I stutter, the fact that I didn't have a technology background, and how, those are my strengths and what I did to succeed in giving back. So get comfortable. So number two, just get comfortable having an opinion. And then, like I said, sometimes your first impression isn't like a face-to-face conversation or even like the Zoom calls, right? It could be a resume or, for this situation, it could be LinkedIn. Which harps on building your brand, building your network. I talked about mentorship, and we'll talk a little bit of depth about that later on in the presentation, but also getting confident enough to understand what you're good at, the why and the how, and being able to promote yourself, which is very, very important because you're going to have to do that as well. So that's my spiel. I will go ahead and toss over the virtual microphone to Haley. Take it away.
Thank you, Wayne. No, I love that. And I love that activity. And I think one thing to take away from it that I appreciate so much, and I think Dell appreciates a lot, is when people come into our interviews and into the jobs here being super vulnerable and honest and self-aware. I remember one thing our new hire manager told us was leave your egos at the door our first day because everybody here is going to fail. Everybody here wants to get to know each other so we can understand what each other's weaknesses and strengths are. We actually started the day talking about our weaknesses. And she was like, I don't want to hear that you're too hard of a worker or that, oh, those things are silly. Really, what are they? Right. And let's all talk about them. We had our VP come in and share his weaknesses and strengths. And I just think the more self-aware you can be about your brand and what you can offer and where you're working, the areas you're working on as a person, that makes companies, in my opinion, want to hire you because you're viewed as coachable and you're very level-headed and you understand yourself. That's the type of person folks want to manage. So with that, we'll get into build your brand. A lot of this stuff, I will say, I think could potentially be a little bit more common sense than other pieces of it. I don't know where you guys stand on your ability to, be on LinkedIn, if you even use that social network, if it's something you've used for years. So if there are pieces to this presentation that you're like, duh, Haley, I've been doing that for like 5 years now, tune me out and I'm sorry. But These are definitely things that I think everyone can sharpen up, even if you have been doing them for a while. There's always ways to make, better use of this platform, because it is the most massive, scale platform to get you noticed by companies and even get you promoted more within your current work, organization. So with that, we will kick off personal brand. Your personal brand is really the essence of who you are and what you stand for. I personally think your personal brand follows you, and changes a ton throughout your life. But I think the most exciting personal brand is the one that comes into play within your professional career, because you've been through maybe those years of, trial and error, having some ups and downs, and you feel as though you know yourself a little bit more. And that's when you can really allow your personal brand to shine in the workspace. So we'll move forward from this slide. And the first question we have on the slide is, your personal and professional brand the same? And Wayne, if you want to click through it, the answer is yes, it is the same, right? And at first, I kind of didn't understand that coming into the sales org. I thought, oh, I'll be one person at work and I'll kind of just be professional and, always say the right thing. But then I'm going to be more myself at the, out at the bar with my friends or, amongst my family. That is not the same, right? You want to be able to go into work being exactly your authentic self. I remember one of our leaders at the NGSA program said, I don't have enough time to be two people. That's never going to work for me. You are going to get the most authentic version of me all the time. And that personal brand is something that I'm going to be working on in and out of the office. Customers are going to be more, open to working with you if the person that they see in the office is the same person they see at dinner. You're just a genuine human being that is working on, yourself, which is great. So you want to tie in your values, beliefs, and everything about yourself to incorporate who you are at home to be who you are in the workplace. And it's a big reason we hire you, are those, little qualities that we see in your personal life outside of just what you can offer the company. This is one of my favorite sayings, and it took me a while to really believe this when I first joined Dell 5 years ago, but it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. And that is comforting to me, because that's kind of an action you can take into your own hands, right? Reaching out to people, getting to know people, asking questions, connecting with people on social networks like LinkedIn. You can put effort into that versus just kind of maybe growing up and getting lucky with the resources around you, which, I wasn't blessed with that. I didn't know a single person at Dell when I interviewed there. And I shortly came to find out that a lot of my peers did know people there. Maybe they had a little leg up in the interview process, or they had someone to kind of vouch for them. I did not have that opportunity, right? And I came in thinking, gosh, I don't know if I'll ever excel here because I don't have anyone kind of being my cheerleader, but you can make people your cheerleaders, right? And that's really, really comforting to know. It just takes a little bit of work. So networking, offline, online, there's a lot of ways to do that. You guys can read below, as well as mentoring. It took me a while to get a mentor, but I realized as soon as I just confidently would say to someone, hey, I really admire the way that you run your sales meetings, and you're very confident. And I think I relate to you in a few ways, and I'd ultimately like to, run my meeting similar to you. Are you okay with me kind of barging in here and there and listening to you chat with your customers and, having a little bit of a mentorship here? People are so open to saying yes, especially at Dell. It's a flattering thing, and it allows them to also kind of put that on their resume. So find someone who's in a similar field of interest that you like personally and professionally, and just learn from them. Never stop asking questions. Some of the highest leaders at our company have mentors, so you should definitely have one as well. We can move on from here. Awesome. So this kind of goes into the LinkedIn piece. If you don't have a LinkedIn, that's fine. But if you are thinking about jumping into, starting to look for a full-time job, maybe wanting to showcase yourself a little bit more, today's the day that you should really jump on that. And if you currently have a LinkedIn, I would, push you to get on that platform later today, later this week, and kind of just shine it up a little bit. And we'll talk about that down the line, but it's essentially your virtual extended resume. Studies and data shows that more recruiters in the United States are using LinkedIn as their #1 recruiting platform versus any other platform. So this is where the talent is being found. You should be on there, engaging. Networking events are at your fingertips. There's a ton that goes on there that you can essentially, join organizations, meet people outside of your organizations, ask people, hey, I saw this post that you had and I'd love to just have a coffee chat with you. It's so easy to get connected with folks in your org or out of your org using LinkedIn. Obviously resources for up-to-date news. It's great to just have things to talk about in the world of IT, and especially in the world of sales. I remember seeing like one day I had a big call coming up with Nationwide Children's Hospital, and it was the same day that Target had a lot of their personal data hacked, and it was a huge security breach. It was all over LinkedIn, and it was the very first thing my customer asked me about. And I thought to myself, holy cow, if I didn't see that on LinkedIn, I probably would have sounded like such a dummy. Like I didn't even know what was going on in the world of IT. So nice to just like scroll it in the morning, see the highlights so that throughout your conversations, you can feel like you're in the know during the day. And finally, a daily dose of inspiration. Always nice to see the people that are saying, hey, I worked really hard. Look at my promotion. Hey, you know, this is some tactics I used to stay organized. Just kind of helps with that mental health piece as well. So the 3 stages that we're going to go over, and I know that we don't have a ton of time here, so we're going to go through them fairly quickly, but I do think they're self-explanatory, are the build, furnish, and invite stages. We have a little, I guess, metaphor you could say around building your LinkedIn platform, and we align it to essentially like building a home. And what that all looks like. And you guys can kind of figure out the step that you're in, or maybe the steps that you're not super great at, and use those as action items to better yourself moving forward while utilizing LinkedIn. So we'll start off with the build stage. Awesome. So the build stage is really that foundation. I remember when I first started my LinkedIn, I was like, my God, this reminds me of MySpace. I haven't had like a website in so long. You know, for those of you who maybe were in the MySpace days with me, you're like, do I add a song to this page? Like, how do people get to know me? But I slowly learned the pieces that really mattered and the things that didn't. So in the building phase, you're going to see this basic foundation, right? And you'll start off as that beginner, and you can kind of decide how you want to take your LinkedIn from this point on. The folks you want to connect with, the picture you want to share. You're a blank slate at this point, which is really exciting because the second you upload this and you have some work experience, or you've graduated with your associate's or bachelor's degree, you're in the market and the recruiters are going to start coming. So we want to make sure the first thing they see is something that gets them excited to talk to you. So here's a couple don'ts for a profile picture, and we can build this slide out. No photo. I don't know if that's like considered mysterious or cool, but it's not cool for recruiters. We want to see your face. We want to, you know, see either, you know, a picture of you that represents yourself, however that may be, represents your personality, but we don't want to just have a mystery photo. It also can really help us when we're looking to maybe align you with folks that we've met previously. If you've interviewed with us and we're like, oh, I don't remember your name, but I remember that face, right? It's really important, especially in sales, to have add a face to your name. Don't use like a cropped low resolution photo. There's nothing worse than seeing like a digitally pixely photo and we're like, can't even really make that out. It's just, you know, shows that maybe you didn't put a lot of time into it. I think there's some like discussion around, oh, you need a professional photo. Not true. Our iPhones are better than most cameras these days. I remember for my professional, I went outside and stood in front of like a tree, and my friend took a headshot of me wearing a blazer, and it was perfect. It was just the right resolution. It was nice to just put up on LinkedIn, and we were literally outside at work on our lunch break. So very easy and quick opportunity. You don't need to hire anybody or have some fabulous camera. Don't have some obscure photo that your face isn't visible or it's like artsy and unique. We just want to see you for who you are. That's super helpful. And then finally, a selfie. As fun as selfies can be, definitely don't give you that professional headshot feeling that we want to see as corporate recruiters. So make sure these are in your don't category, and we can move on to the do for profile pictures, which might be a little bit common sense, but always good to go over. These are a few of the leaders and employees within our our organization at University Relations. Our director is actually upper right. Her name is Jennifer Newbill, and she has one of my favorite pictures. It's great resolution. It shows her just in her natural state as she looks every day. She's not crazy dressed up. She looks very much so like herself, but there's a lot of brightness, you know, good body language, high resolution. Essentially, maybe you can consider the photos that you have on your LinkedIn. Do they align with what you would look like on an interview day? That's probably a good rule of thumb, right? So here's a few just tips there, and we can move on to the next slide. Yes, if you meet Jennifer, say nice things about Haley, me and Wayne. That would be great. That would be great for our career. As far as headlines, this is kind of the piece that I felt was a little bit, I remember copying the slide and literally using it as a rubric. And yes, I think we can share these out with you guys in some shape or form because I use this so much. I put in my first name, showcase your value. We don't want to see like, I'm Haley and I love French fries and Harry Potter, like really great. Those are very true about me, but they do not help you get a job, right? What do you bring to the table? The who, where, and the why. You can showcase your job title, but make sure you expand on that a little bit. I know we all hear people say, oh yeah, I do this for work. And then we follow up with, what does it actually mean? Right. So when I tell people, oh, I'm a campus recruiter, they could say like, you recruit for college campuses. Well, what does that mean? No, I focus on a select group of sales programs, recruiting college students interested in entry-level sales careers at Dell, right? Okay, that makes a lot more sense. A little overview of your, education, things like that. And then finally, a few little differentiators. You're a veteran, you're involved in this, you're an expert in that. So it can be really nice to get a full overview of you very quickly in a professional and clean way. Okay, and then the summary. The summary can feel like you're applying to college all over again with those horrible essays, but they're so important. We've seen a lot of people that we hire this be the differentiator to bringing them on for a final interview because it's kind of like a little pitch, right? It's a sell yourself without having to kind of do it in person. So again, who are you? Break it down for us. Give us some really good adjectives about, your personality. Tell us what you do in a day, like in your time. It's one of the big questions we ask at Dell. How do you fill your time? What kind of fruitful existence do you live? Are you working at a coffee shop? Are you a waitress? Are you leader in an organization? Are you passionate about whatever else? The second piece is what makes you stand out. Great. We love that you're involved and that you have some, part-time jobs. Maybe you're a parent, maybe you, who knows, but what makes you stand out are, Wayne talked about a few of his differentiators and being really patient and really passionate and those types of things. Whether you think so or not, that makes you unique. No one is quite like you. And we want you to be able to confidently highlight those things so that we say, hey, this person could be a really good fit for our org. And then finally, what lights you up? What are you passionate about? One of the questions we ask at Dell is, what do you geek out on? And we want to know outside of work, like what, if you have a full free day and you're sitting on YouTube, what are you going to look up to just sit back and eat your lunch and watch, right? Is it cooking videos? Are you excited to hear about fashion? Whatever it may be, talk to us about it so we get a little bit of insight to your character. And then experience. This also can feel a little bit overwhelming. And for me, the tidbit I want to put out here is no experience isn't good enough. I don't care if you've been a waitress at this tiny restaurant for 2 months, put it on there, right? Every day that you've spent at that job, you met customers, maybe you had some failures, you had some challenges, and that can turn into stories in your interview. I don't care if it was a, part-time job on campus, an internship that didn't go great, put them on here. And we want to hear all about the experiences that you've had. I see a message in the chat. I'll peek at right now. A business major? No, that's a great question. You don't need to be any specific major. We are an all major hiring organization. So some of the people that do best in our sales orgs are literally folks that came from like teaching, folks that were bartenders because they can connect with anybody. They're so good at explaining. So I had a communications degree. Everyone knows that can go in 1,000 different directions. And thankfully, it landed me in sales. But back to this, we want to see just what you've done. Even if it's a short blip, share it. Even if it was a bad experience, share it. I remember my internship, I had a few really bad moments where I just got bad reviews. I put it on there anyway, and those stories ended up getting me a little bit of a standout in my interview at Dell because I was able to talk about failures and how I bounced back from them. So even some of your bad moments, if you share them correctly, can be shown as coachable, resilient, able to handle rejection. We'll move on from this. And then skills. The skills can be kind of the easiest piece. It's kind of just like adding accessories to an outfit. Let's throw them in. What makes sense here, and it's awesome when you can be endorsed by someone. If you don't have anyone endorsing you for skills, a great way to do that is kick it off. Go endorse someone for a skill. More likely than not, they're going to come back and do the same thing for you. So make sure that there's specific, defined things, not just random, anything makes sense. Try to think about it as if someone asked me about that specific skill on an interview, what would I elaborate on? If you can't think of anything, don't add it. But yeah, that's a good piece for the endorsements and skills. And then finally, your alumni tool. This is like the candy store of LinkedIn, in my opinion. people connect more with folks that went to their university, that were in their organization, that came from where you're at right now. I remember looking into Ohio University when I was interviewing at Dell. There were so many other Bobcats that had interviewed for opportunities at Dell, and they became like my go-to mentors. They loved that I knew the same bars that they went to, that we had similar professors. And from there, it was so easy to kind of blossom a friendship. And like I said earlier, creating your own cheerleaders, you can do that via this alumni tool, finding people that went through your same experiences, whatever it may be, veterans, went to your same school, same organizations, get to know them. And then the next thing you know is you have people to connect with, and essentially folks that'll help you ultimately maybe get an interview, which is great. So you can utilize this on LinkedIn. Stage 2 is furnish. We can move on from here. And furnish is essentially connecting, networking, and recommendations. This is where once you've got your profile set up, this is the work piece, right? Let's get it going. Who do we want to connect with? Being selective is important. I remember in the old Facebook days, it would be like, I have 6,000 friends. And it's like, that's not the vibe with LinkedIn. You want to make sure that each of your connections are either servicing you or you are servicing them. You know, I like following or connecting with people who are in the sales organizations outside of Dell. I like to see what they're posting about. I like to see people in the healthcare IT industry because it fascinates me. Maybe people that are outside of IT, but just post really good narratives about day-to-day organization, things like that. So do your research. You can literally Google things like, who are some of the best people to follow on LinkedIn? There's full lists of leaders out there within certain organizations that can, you know, give you really great tips. So I would mix your connections with folks from work, obviously, folks from your alumni network, and then people that just bring you inspiration or that you aspire to be, right? So don't feel like you need to accept everybody. I'm very friendly. It is hard for me to feel like, oh, I'm going to decline this person. But like, if you don't know them or they don't really surface you, or you feel as though there's not any reason for you to connect, don't feel like you need to add them, right? Utilize the networking piece. This is where I always fall short. I'm a big scroller and not a very big active person. I'm similar on Instagram. I'm kind of like a ghost on social media. I just like to look. That will not service you on LinkedIn. You need to interact, like posts, comment, congratulate people for their interviews or their, you know, promotions, share status updates. That's going to create conversation. It's going to create traction to your page. And one thing I think that you'll see more than ever is if you don't interact a lot, and coming from experience, I went from like, oh, 6 people viewed your profile today to I'd start interacting and start sharing. And then I'd see like 201 this week. And I'm like, oh my God, wow, people are looking at my profile. That means I need to make sure it looks good, right? Maybe I'm getting a recruiter. Maybe I have candidates that like what I'm sharing. So make sure that you're using that activity piece, be friendly and have fun, be yourself. Obviously, recommendations are like former leaders, colleagues. If they don't accept you right away, be patient. The time will come. Maybe they'll be on an event with you or a webinar down the line. I remember it took like 2 years for me to get the president of sales at Dell to accept my request. And I was like, he maybe just accepts no one. But I remember that day and I got it back and I was like, let's go. I think this means I've made it. So it's always nice to have a few of those leaders add you back even after some time. And finally, furnishing your home groups, right? This is something that I think goes overlooked, but all of us, I think, were involved in organizations in college, in undergrad, whatever it may be. Add those to your groups. Dell has ERGs that stand for Employee Resource Groups within our company. Everything from ethnicity focus groups, race focus groups, people that were veterans, you know, maybe folks at home that have a family member that has a disability, folks that are really passionate about climate, faith, religion, you name it, there's a group for it. And I think that's a really great way for companies like Dell to see, hey, this person's really passionate about certain things. And I think they would really shine in Dell within our ERGs. So I'm in 3 different ERGs. You don't have to identify with that ERG to be a member. So for example, I'm a member of the Black Networking Alliance. Obviously, I'm a white woman, but I wanted to be an ally for that group. I wanted to, you know, hear what my peers had to say about the things that were going on in our country with social injustices and just listen and learn. So you're able to be a member of any ERG without truly identifying with them. It's just a great way to learn and meet new people. And the groups in the LinkedIn is like the first step with that. So if you were in a sorority, in an organization, if you're passionate about something, add it so that recruiters like myself can see and maybe see a little bit of a future for you within Dell.
Definitely. And then I threw in our community college LinkedIn group. That's where we're starting to build a really, really nice community. I'm putting in posts about our open job openings, our events that we have. So I threw that in the chat also with Haley's LinkedIn, my LinkedIn. So please feel free to add us away. Send us a note as well. But I did want to throw that in there.
Thank you, Wayne.
No problem at all.
Best.
No problem. Good.
And then finally is our invite stage, and we can move on from here. This is about as, straightforward as it gets. But we want to talk about posting. And this is, in my opinion, the hardest part. Like, what do I want to post on my page? What are people going to see? For me, my comfort zone started off with articles about Dell. I worked there, and anytime something big would happen, Michael Dell's opening a new foundation, he's putting money towards this, maybe things that made me feel proud about the company I worked for, I would share those, and then the comments would come. From there, my confidence grew, and I started posting more things that were going on in society that I felt like were other people should know about, gaining attention towards something. And then finally, it became more comfortable that I could share maybe updates about myself. Hey, I'm hosting this event. Hey, I just took a new role. So if you're feeling a little unconfident about what to share and how to interact, start a little bit of a step back, maybe things that aren't so tied to you, and then slowly work it towards maybe things that are a little bit more personal. But that's a really great way to gain new connections, build trust, and get noticed once you finally do share an article that you're like, you know what, I'm passionate about this. It doesn't have to do with my job, but I want people to see it. That's really great. And the right people can come your way, connect with you, and ultimately people that just can further your steps in the corporate world.
No, great stuff. I appreciate you so much, Haley. I appreciate everybody joining today. Before we head out today, I did want to mention upcoming events. We do have a recent grad panel. I put together a nice group of community college new hires. They're going to speak to us tomorrow. This is a Dell hosted event. If you fill out the profile link that is in the Zoom chat, the WebEx chat, forgive me, WebEx. We have that event and we can invite you directly to that. Add us on LinkedIn. Our LinkedIn profiles are in there. Make sure you add the community college group because it is a way for us to touch base. I also threw in the job rec because we are hiring associate degree graduates for Next Generation Sales Academy. So Haley's been wonderful to us and appreciate you coming out. But we do have opportunities and amazing opportunity if you're interested in field sales, outside sales, like you mentioned, the feeder program. It's super special that we're able to be here through, changing the face of tech. So a lot of opportunities coming your way. This one is directly in your face. It's on you to take, to just take advantage. Utilize LinkedIn, add us, connect with us, come to different events. We have a demystifying sales event. So let's say you have more questions about sales. We're even talking about money and compensation. Like, we're gonna get into all of that. That is actually October 14th. If you fill out that Dell candidate profile that I put in there, I can give you that event as well. So please connect with us. There's so many different ways, so many different opportunities. We're on Handshake as well. The job rec should be posted there as well. Make sure you talk to Matt. Matt is my best friend, and he'll tell you the same thing. And he's gonna fill you just directly to me. We have a lot of opportunities coming your way. Matter of fact, I think I probably have it on hand. Let me grab this demystifying sales link. I'm gonna throw it in the chat before we head out.
Yeah, thank you all so much for having me. Hopefully that was beneficial in some way, shape, or form. But if not, we can at least connect and maybe you find an opportunity at Dell that excites you. And Wayne and I are happy to help, get you towards the interview process.
Oh, definitely. Here goes the demystifying sales. No, I appreciate everybody.
Is this a question section? We can ask a question?
Yeah, feel free. I got time. I'm sorry we're a little bit late, but I'm good. I'm here for you. Yeah, ask away.
I tried to ask a question for the presenter, the recruiter from Dell. Is there any specific job available? Dell intend to hire BHCC student.
To hire what student? I'm sorry, I cut out there.
The Bunker Hill student.
Yes. So today we're specifically talking about the Next Generation Sales Academy. We are interviewing and hiring students that are getting their associate's degree at Bunker Hill. The reason we came here today was because of just the talent here. We've seen success here in hiring, and obviously if sales is the route you want to go, you can email me or add me on LinkedIn and send me your resume. However, if you have interest in other organizations within Dell, Wayne can help kind of guide you to the organizations that maybe are hiring associate degrees, like within the finance sector or the, other sectors within Dell. But my main bread and butter is sales. So if that does interest you, you can go ahead and send me your resume.
Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. So is this job majorly targeting people going to receive their associate degree?
Both folks that are receiving their associate or four-year degree. We've opened it up to both types of candidates. We've seen success from both types of candidates. So yeah, you guys are free to apply.
Could you share us a little bit about what does those cells do and where do they do the work?
Sure. So you know what? I can share, if you send me over your email, I'm going to put it in my email in the chat. If you reach out to me, I can share over the job description with anyone who would like to hear a little bit more about it. But this location is in Hopkinton, Massachusetts, and it's an inside sales program focusing on data center infrastructure. So if you want to hear a little bit more of the details around that, I can share the job description with any of you over email, or we can talk further offline about the actual job, the day-to-day. We're also hosting an informational webinar next week. So if you'd love to meet some of the managers and hear more, email me and I can share that webinar link with you all. It's still being up to date, which is why I don't have it right now, but that could be a really great next step for you to decide, hey, you know what, I do want to spend my time and interview for this, or maybe this isn't up my alley.
Sounds awesome. Thank you very much. I'm going to email you. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you.
I have a question regarding the internship positions. In my case, for example, I'm still a freshman. How can I keep in touch, or how can I don't know, like follow up with Dell until until I'm in my sophomore year and I can apply for the internships?
Yeah, great question. Email me. I have like 10 students that I meet as freshmen every year that send me 6-month updates on their life. And they'll just be like, hey, Haley, how's it going? Just so you know, I'm still working at the bookstore. My GPA went up a little bit. I'm super excited about Dell still. Just wanted to touch base. And I've had some of those students start talking to me their freshman year, and then we hire them after their senior year, and I've known them for 4 years. It's crazy. So it's never too early to get engaged, and just keep reaching out and share updates with me. And then once you are eligible, we'll start you on the interview process.
That sounds great. Thank you so much.
You bet.
Perfect. And also, like I said, do that. Please connect with Haley. She does this, and like I said, she really does care. So I really do, like I said, do that. Then two, I'm also with Bunker Hill as well. So if you do that candidate profile, I will be able to send you events for like the recent grad panel for tomorrow. So we haven't, and then to that fact, on November 4th, we are coming back to talk about some, interview tips and tricks. So this is going to continue happening, but no, first things first, connect with Haley.
Yes. Yes. Thank you all so much for having me today. And like Wayne said, if you have additional questions, you want more time to talk, I will make sure each of you get the resources you need to feel educated and have all your questions answered. But hopefully this gave you a little insight to how to be a little bit more savvy on LinkedIn today. And I'm looking forward to hearing from hopefully a good bit of you in the future.
I appreciate it, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
No
everyone.
problem.
Please have a
Thank you
nice
very
weekend.
much.
Thanks. All right, you too. Bye-bye.